Hello, good morning, you guys. I am up drinking coffee. Y'all know I go crazy buying candles. I got candles from Goose Creek, and I got my diffusers going with my brown sugar scent in it, and the whole house is smelling sweet. Okay, like cookies and brown sugar cookies and all of that good stuff. So I'm up. I think, and I'm not sleepy either. I think because I go to bed early, I've been trying to get myself prepared for school. I start back school next. My classes start next Tuesday. So I have exactly 1 week. Hey, Black Barbie. Hey, Diane. Y'all see, I woke up with a lot of energy. I've been taking my vitamins. I've been going to bed early. So when I get home from work, what I'm gonna have to start doing is getting on, because auntie be tired, okay? And then this is the type of weather that have us sleepy anyways, have us real tired because it's cold. You just want to come in and get in out the weather now, and then I'm getting on my y'all. I went to y'all. Oh, my numbers were so terrible. I've been eating so bad. I have been doing good. I gained some weight back. My cholesterol numbers were up. So I'm really, because my doctor was like, "Oh my God, the cholesterol numbers are up so bad this time." He was like, I really want to put you on some medicine." He was like, "No, I'm gonna have to put you on some medicine today." He was like, "Okay, so you come back in June. I'll give you until June." He was like, "I really don't want you to leave this time because the numbers already were elevated." He was like, "But they're the highest that they've ever been." So, I mean, all of that stopping while I'm out working, because I had started to do that kind of again. I ain't doing that no more. So, um, yeah. But for the last few days, I've been taking my supplements. I've been taking several supplements, and hey, paper bag, hey, Miss J, and so I woke up yesterday and I wasn't tired. My puppies wakes me up early, okay, to change their pads and pampers and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna even tell no lie. I've been giving them melatonin to make them sleep during the night. And I've just fed them, changed them and fed them and gave them some more melatonin, child. But I shouldn't have given them any melatonin this morning. I need to wait and give them some. I guess I'll start giving them melatonin around 10 o'clock at night. Okay, that's what I'm gonna start doing to make them sleep. I need to be going to the gym. Went to the gym yesterday. I need to be going this morning. Am I gonna make it this morning? I might make it this morning. Go do 30 minutes. Definitely going to my kickboxing class. I've been paying for a kickboxing class that I've barely been going to, but I'm going back, and that's because they moved out in East Memphis. I probably there's this facility I used to go to called the God Body, and he's right there in Orange Mound. I think I'm gonna go back to him because I did really good with him. He's right there in Orange Mound. Shout out to him. He said, "Don't fix what ain't broke." Anyways, I wanted to talk about why are we still behind when God gifted us with everything. As I was looking at, I was looking at Pooh Shiesty was arrested again yesterday, and I got to look at the circumstances behind that. Hey, Miss Shan. Hey, Miss Tyranny. And I was looking at Finesse two times, talking about how his heart is broken. And I can't help but see that something else is probably getting ready to happen with Finesse. I don't know why I don't trust Sugar. I just don't. And now what he's doing is, I think he feels like he's making money off of her. Because let's just be real about it. A Sugar is not like a traditional type woman. I don't think she ever set out to be. Um, Her loyalty go as far as she wants to be kept. Okay, and now he's pushing her out to the forefront, and she's getting more attention. And I think after a while, she's this is what she's been laying low waiting for this. I think after a while he's gonna be heartbroken about that too, because she ain't gonna really need him anymore, right? Her popularity is going up as his go down. Okay, and she got a real good root on him this time. She really put her whoever she went to this time did that big one. Okay, because he is totally docile. And I like Finesse, but y'all know I gotta speak the truth. And if Sugar was like somebody that I felt like was loyal and good for Finesse and all of that, I would say it, right? I would say it. But I don't think so. I don't think so. So anyways, so just thinking about all of that, I was listening to an activist from out of Orange Mound, and he basically knows everything that goes on in Orange Mound. And so I kind of been I was listening to him, and he was talking about an unaliving that happened, and then he started talking about what happened to young Dolph. Okay, and he was like, Thaddeus Matthews. And I can believe that, because I remember Thaddeus. Now I understand why Thaddeus knew so much about what was going on around the time that stuff was happening with Young Dolph, um, because he was getting his information from straight from a source from out of Orange Mound that is an activist, right? Um, what really makes me happy though, I'm starting to see a group of leaders um rise up in Memphis, and hey, they seem to be doing their thing, right? Um and that's a good thing. Okay, not they're not just rising up and speaking a whole lot of buffoonery. When you're gonna rise up to go against a system that has been perfected to keep black people in a certain position, because that's exactly what has happened, to always keep us consumers, to always keep us going at each other, to keep us hating what we see when we look in the mirror. When I had somebody to say to me, you've always talked about like how you like your dark skin, how you like being dark skinned. Like, is that like a facade? Because you know because of how people feel about dark skinned people, like, is it have you always done that to try to cover up the pain? I said, are you serious? You got to be serious. Kidding me, I mean. And this was another black person, as if me saying that I love my chocolate skin is a facade to cover up pain. Y'all, they've done a number on us. They've done a number on us. So you can't love yourself. I've always said, if I had to choose a skin tone, I would choose being chocolate all over again, because growing up, I was always called dark and lovely by my male cousins, and just I mean, I was never I don't really understand like the mindset of some of our people other than they did a number on us, and it's a lot of hate, right? I was listening to, I look at Cece, my cousin Cece, I listened to Finesse. And Finesse has a lot of reckoning that he has to do because God has given him the gifts. And I talk about him because I guess he's the one that's out there, right? More. I talk about him, but Finesse is not a light-skinned dude. But when he got mad at Cece and he was referring to Cece just like he does other dark-skinned people, he called him you crispy black burn up such and such, and he has a dark-skinned son. I mean, Sugar, his she's light skinned, but here's the thing about that. You know what I mean? Like it's sad when you put a lot of stock in a person just because of their skin tone. That's why I say it's our people are totally messed up. Like we still have that racial that prejudice type thing going on in our community because it happened back in the slavery days. The closer you are to white, the better you are, the more you are accepted. I think about, I don't know if they still do it in Louisiana. I can only imagine that they do, that it was really bad down there. People put a lot of stock. Oh, they're Creole. They're Creole. A person that was considered Creole was considered better. So I remember one day I was talking to a guy and he kept going, a lot of people say, I look like I'm mixed. I look like I'm that. And I said, well, you just kind of look like you're a light-skinned black man to me. And so then I said, well, so you're Creole. So let me ask you something. Cause he just kept going on and on because it's really sad. You have nothing. Nothing. Other than you talking about your skin tone, you ain't even got nothing. It seems like to me you'd be trying to work yourself out of poverty. That right there would be a priority, right? And so he said, I said, so let me ask you something. So when you're arrested, because I know how bad the police is in New Orleans, especially at that time. Hold on, y'all. I said, so what are you all classified as when you go to jail? Like, are you treated differently? When the police pull you over and you're Creole, like, do they treat you differently? Like, are you classified in the jail system as something? What are you classified as? He said, a black man. I said, do they treat you all differently when they arrest you because you're Creole? No, they treat us like we niggas. Okay. All right. So our fight is bigger than that, but we can't get off the first floor. We can't even get off the first floor. You got bigger problems because number one, you're still being treated unfairly, even though you want to feel like you're better because you think that you identify with being white or you're closer to white. You still treated the same. We can't even get our mentality off of the first floor, and that is the problem. Too many of us got first floor person mentalities, right? You don't even know how to get on the elevator and ride to the top floor. That's small stuff. When you start talking about skin tone, shit like that, that's stuff that happened. We still stuck in the 18 and early 1900s. Those are the types of things that they did to the slaves to pit them against each other. We didn't know anything about slavery other than what we read about, and it's like a generational curse. You mean to tell me we still stuck on the first floor dealing with shit like that when we got bigger issues? That's why we're still behind. You think about all of the talent, these R&B, the dancers, like God gave us rhythm. God gave us rhythm. So we dance, we have everybody to hijack the gifts because we give it away. Well, such and such came. These Chinese is people, sis. Well, why don't you teach your brother? And y'all said, no, I don't want to deal with no black folks. But you think it's something if somebody of another community that's, hey, you'll give it all away to them. I think about how the people talk about the Africans that come in from Africa and they come over here and they start braiding and they go, well, they think they're better than black people. I don't necessarily feel like the Africans think they're better than us. They just don't like our mentality. So what they do is they try to keep themselves separate from us. Okay, they recognize that they're us because we all black, but they try to keep themselves separate from our mentality because we are a lot of a lot of Americans are messed up. A lot of Americans are messed up. So they come over, they braid, they work together. You don't never see them backstabbing each other. You don't ever see them trying to you know you don't ever see them trying to undercut whoever it is that they come over here with and start braiding for. You know what they do? They work for them and get their money up because they know after that owner of the braid shop make a certain amount of money, they be constantly building their houses over in Africa. So the girl who does my braids, she's been here for 10 years. She's been going to Africa. She started going to Africa the last 3 years in the summertime because she's been building her house. And I said, you building a house? You're not going to stay here? Oh, no, no, no. I love synagogue. I almost finished building my house. I've been here over 10 years now. I'm ready to go home. I come here work. I said, you building a house, paid for. House almost finished paid for. She's building a house and she's almost finished paying for it and she's going home. And guess what? When she go home, she said, my daughter and her nieces and stuff starting to come over. Guess what? One of them gonna own that shop. They ain't trying to undercut her. They already know if I save my money, I can buy her shop and then I'm gonna own it. And then I'm gonna be going over to the synagogue, building my house, and then my cousins, one of them gonna be able to buy the shop. They got the right type of mentality. Okay. Okay, y'all had to blow my nose. Do you ever see, and then when you see them, what do they have on? What do they have on? They have on African attire. So when you see these African stores and stuff, they go buy all of their seasoning out of the African stores. They like oxtail. So I was sitting there getting my hair braided because sometimes she'll braid my hair at the house when I don't want to sit in no shop. Okay. I tell her, I need you to braid my hair. I want you to braid my hair at your house and get your daughter and your niece on it because I don't want to wait. Okay. We get snooted like that sometimes because my nerves and stuff, my nerves and stuff be bad. I be wanting to be through in 3 hours or less, my head big. So they was cooking and it was smelling so good. I said, what kind of seasoning that we get from African shop in Whitehaven on Mill Branch? All our seasonings we get out of there. I said, really? It was smelling really good. She's like, it's oxtail. You want some? My mind told me no, and I got curious. I said, well, yeah, I'll try it. Now, the seasoning was good, but I couldn't eat it because what they do is they mush their food up real good. They mush it up, okay, and I know why they do it so that they can stretch it, because it'd be a kind of a lot of them. They mush it so they can stretch it. While they're over in the United States, her son has gotten a degree in computer science. They get their degrees and stuff. Okay. They all pool their resources together, just like the Hispanics do. Folks sitting up mad at, why are you mad at the Hispanics? The folks hating on them. Well, they getting all the jobs. When I go to out there in Hickory Hill, it seemed like to me either a Hispanic has bought the McDonald's, or all it's only Hispanics that work up in there. They taking all the jobs that these Negroes who ain't got a damn pot to piss in don't want. You think you too good and you laying on your mama couch stinking with no job. They get up and go to them. Okay, they start their cleaning services. Okay, now I got mad at them to come in here because I see I don't like, I have to have them. The reason I have to have somebody come in is because my ceilings and shit tall. So I be wanting a gentle cleaning. I need to dust my ceilings, clean my windows and stuff like that. And then if it's other things, they ain't do it. She sent some more girls. I ain't like that. And you know what I told her? I was pissed off. Okay, so I was fussing. She made up all these excuses, but you know what I told her? I said, I tell you what, I just won't be using your services no more. No harm intended. And I'm not gonna recommend nobody else. 2 days later, she said, I send girls back, and I tell you what, next month, I do half price, and I send the girls every time that you like. I said, that's what I like to hear. Okay, because you don't come up in here and don't vacuum my damn floor. Okay. Put my dishes, and ain't but a few in the dishwasher, and then don't turn it on. And I'm paying you $250? No. I ain't like that. But they got those cleaning services, but she made it right. Their husbands, when you see these apartment complexes, it's them, it be the white people that own the painting services. But guess what? They learning the job. They all pull their resources together and they get on top of the houses and do the roofing, and they learn. And then the next thing you know, they owning the damn company, and all of them leave and go and work for the Hispanic that just made enough money to open a company. That's how you do it. There ain't no crabs in a bucket. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why Yella Beezy's mother passed. I don't know. You know what? That's another one right there, Yella Beezy. I hope his mama didn't pass, but that dude, that got a lot of suffering to do. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, they're saying that she passed away. Yeah, they're saying that she passed. Hold on, let me see if TMZ saying it. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I need to hear TMZ say it because come from rap journals. I don't know. Uh, I don't see where TMZ has confirmed it. But I hope that his mother hasn't passed. But that's a dude that's gonna have to pay for a whole lot of shit, because it's a girl that he was dating down there in Dallas, and I think, and he had a baby, a secret baby with her, and they're trying to say it was a suicide. The girl and the baby was found in the car, and it was carbon monoxide poisoning. They want to say it was a suicide, but I think Yella Beezy had that girl killed because she was getting ready to tell some stuff on him. Okay. They said he wouldn't even come to the funeral or nothing, but he knew the baby was his and all of that. Ain't said nothing to the family. That's a low down little ugly bastard. Okay. But anyways, back to what I was saying. We got to change our mindset. All right. She says, but at the same time, are in, um, our ancestors were enslaved and brought over here. So how we are living is what we were taught. That's true. I agree with you on that. It's what we were taught. But but here's the thing, Black Barbie. We are able now to understand what has happened. We know that there is a system. We understand that what the system has put in place, and it's been like a generational curse. Why are we still making it a repetitive cycle? It don't even work for us. Why aren't we changing our mindsets? Okay. It says no, most of our people was already here. Hey Edwards. Hey Ashley. And so, I think about like the black politicians. I'll speak about around like the Memphis area because Memphis has majority black politicians. Look at how they get elected and sell out. Okay, I've spoken about so much because it ain't no repercussions. They get elected and sell out the same community that they saw their family struggle in. Okay. I had to bring the whole damn tissue paper with me this time, just over here by me. Okay. Ken says because we don't stand together. We'd rather cut at each other. And if you think about it, the slaves back then, we give them a pass because they were in survival mode. They were in survival mode. I was looking at this documentary. Y'all know I loves me a good documentary on history. Okay. I had a man tell me, you always looking at them slave documentaries and this and that. And he need to be looking at them. That's why he over there with that. Don't get me started. Please, Lord, don't get me started this morning. I'm gonna stay on track, okay? And because y'all know I was ready to go left and go in, but I ain't gonna do that this morning. We ain't that right, Magnamates? We're gonna stay on a positive. We staying positive in 2026. We leaving all stanky people in 2025. Okay. We're leaving all stanky people that don't like to take a bath in 2025. Okay. So, but I was looking at this documentary on Amazon Prime. Okay. And and they was talking about the plantation that was down in Florida. And I do believe that the slave master's last name was Thompson. I said, Lord Jesus, the last name was Thompson. I said, God, why his last name had to be Thompson? And they said what he did was he was so evil. He had one of the biggest slave farms going. And what the way that he put fear in his slaves was that he would threaten to sell them. If you do something I don't like, if you disobey, if you do anything, I'm selling you. I'm sell you away from your kids. I'm sell your kids away. And they was talking about how what he would do was he would take black babies, and he sold them by the pound. The black mothers would have the babies after they weaned them. They said he was so rich because after they would wean them, they would take the black babies and put them on a scale and sell them by the pound. Ain't that something like you do meat? And so it kept the slaves submissive at all times. They didn't want to do anything to make master mad. And they said he had more mulatto, if that's what they call them, children by the slave women and their underage babies, because underage daughters, because I mean that's how he was rich, so he would keep them as long, he let them know, as long as you don't do nothing to piss me off. Can you imagine having to live like that? So when we start talking about this, because I'm not talking bad about the slaves when we call them house Negroes and all of that. Yeah, they some of them were, but they were in survival mode. These Negroes now ain't in no damn survival mode. They ain't got shit, and they don't want to see no other black person with nothing. Okay, instead of trying to come together and build something, they ain't gonna even gain nothing. At least when they was doing it, they stood to it don't seem like much to us, but if I stay in favor with master being a house Negro, at least my family won't get messed with, at least my kids won't get sold. They went through hell. At least if I play the game, I can hear, they'll trust me a little bit. I get to hear what master and them saying. I can help some of the slaves. They made sacrifices. I can help some of them to escape. These Negroes now killing each other and knocking each other down just because they jealous and ain't got shit to gain, and still ain't gaining nothing. But a feeling of I ain't got it, at least they dead. They ain't gonna enjoy it. Okay, that's why I say some people gotta go. Listen, it's some people just gotta go. You know, when they talk about racism, right? When they talk about, well, they're racist, a lot of old racist white people or whatever color they are that are just very, very racist, and they can't change. They don't change their mindset because they're old and it's just in them, and they hate black people based on a skin tone. That's a damn mental illness. They got to die out. They just got to die out in order for the world to be a better place. Some of these no good Negroes that won't change their mindset, that's keeping our community stagnant, they got to go. Okay? Some people gotta go in order for a generation to be set free. So, folks say we all the child of God. I don't know about that. I don't know if we all come from God. Because some of these folks, I don't know where they come from. They was born evil. Okay? I'm thinking about a documentary that I was looking at, and they was talking about how this little boy was possessed. And I mean, he was a child. We feel like kids are very innocent. And his mother and them said they started to become scared of him because at like 6 years old, they said they saw where he was able to just pick up stuff, like real heavy stuff. Okay, like he was able to just pick up heavy stuff, and they said that they saw how he was. I mean, just I don't know, y'all. That documentary, they said that it had gotten to a point where he could pick up the bed. Now I don't know if this that it was supposedly a real documentary. He could pick up their bed with one hand. And they said he had started doing things. It was almost like he was possessed. They was locking their door and he could just push. I mean, just push the door. I had never seen nothing like it before. Okay. And they said he had a tendency to do real mean, evil stuff. That's why I say, I don't know. We got to change our mindset. I think that's how we get messed over because we feel like, well, we all, and I'm just learning this. And that's because, like Black Barbie said, that's what we were taught that, we're all kids of God and, we want to see the good in everybody. All of these motherfuckers ain't from God. I'm learning that in my late 40s. Some people was born evil. Okay. And they ain't no brother or sister of mine. And you know what's so messed up? We see people doing evil stuff, and I say something like that, and the world is so twisted. We're conditioned to, because I say it, you might think it and not say it because I say it and put it in the atmosphere because it's true. We're conditioned to believe that I'm the evil one and not the person that's doing evil stuff. Well, that person right there killing folks and they doing evil stuff. Yeah, but Tamara was the one that said that they ain't a child of God. She the evil one. Yeah, but he just killed the whole family. And you gonna say he a child of God and she ain't? Because she say he ain't. He a damn devil. So we messed up. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I got to confirm my class today. Is it now? Oh, okay. 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 It's at noon. I was scared to say I'm not even doing a class this early. So that's why we're still behind. As soon as we start to rise up, now we see, and I keep bringing up Young Dolph because he is a good reference. He's a good reference to use. They killed him not because of some street stuff, not because of some nothing other than being crabs in a bucket. He got out of the bucket and learned another way. And it wasn't even like he was not helping people because he was helping a group of people that his energy wanted, because you have to deal with people that match your energy. Okay. Young Dolph's label at that time was a small label that would have grown, right? And so they was dealing with him on a personal level. So you have to deal with people that your energy allows you to deal with. So he was helping, he was giving back. He had found another route. And now we hear a lot of artists crying, and he something that he had already saw. So all the people that were saying he should have kept his mouth closed, now we're starting to see more artists talk about what the industry is doing. We already knew what the industry was doing. He was brave enough to talk about it. Okay. But we, because of that jealousy, they kill a man. And then what's so sad about it is we have our people that try and justify it. What kind of world do we live in? When they kill a man for nothing, and then because we are so messed up, we justify it. It ain't no justification in killing a man that's not a threat to your damn person. And then if his artists and stuff dare talk about it or be mad about, well, they both even talk about it. I'm gonna tell you something, ladies. If I was you, I wouldn't even want a man that's set up, and if they could get on a social media or something, or it just, I ain't even got to be on a social media, and go in on men talking about they a snitch, they told on a serial killer. That ain't gangster. You got to be kidding me. You mean to tell me, as a man, you could stand up at a corner and smoke weed and stuff with somebody that just took out a whole family, that's running around the neighborhood raping kids? Listen, when they had that dude that was over there in South Memphis that was snatching up them little girls, he was hanging right out with the so-called gangsters. They knew he was doing it. So you trying to tell me the worst thing that could have happened? He going up to the elementary in Hamilton and snatching little girls and raping them. He was snatching them little girls, and as soon them little girls said as soon as, because he was gonna start getting around to unaliving them. As soon as he would snatch them and they would get in the car, he would make them point a gun at these elementary school girls. This is what happened. And while he was driving, he would pull his penis out and make them little girls start sucking his penis. And you trying to tell me that these niggas so damn pathetic that they sitting up talking about the worst thing you could be as a snitch, and they didn't kill him? They'll stand up there at the store and smoke weed with him. Okay? And he was doing that to the little girls over there at Hamilton Elementary. He didn't even go to the high school. He wanted him a baby. And so these dudes will say the worst thing you could be is a snitch. You know why they say that? Because a lot of these men are so pathetic. They looked at these mob movies. They listened to these damn Italians talking about rats. You know why they was talking about rats? They made it, seem like it was so bad because they wanted the young mobster men, because that ain't no Italian gonna let no nigga be no damn mobster. Okay, even though they weren't even considered white people until probably like the 40s or something. I was reading that because it was a slave port in Italy. Most of them got a lot of black in them. Okay, that's why they got hips and olive complexions. They didn't want, they wanted for them to go and do the time and not tell on them. That's how that black people have become so pathetic. A lot of them, we just take on to anything. You ain't no rat. No, you worse than a rat. You pathetic. Because if you can have kids and cousins and nieces and nephews walking around these neighborhoods, and it's somebody that's out there raping kids, and you talking about you ain't no rat, you worse than the rapist, and you don't tell it, you don't handle it, you worse than the rat. How you gonna have a mama and it's a freak walking around and you don't protect the kids? You worse than the rat. Okay? And I don't deal with your kind. You too weak of a fucking man for me. Somebody gotta say it. Okay? But they'll make you think the worst thing you could be is a rat. Yeah, he raped my little cousin, but I ain't gonna say no, there ain't no rat. Nigga, you pitiful. A woman like that, if she got a woman of taste and standards, she's supposed to say, look here. Cause see, they'll kill you these days. I ain't look, brother. Our time ends today. You too weak for me. I don't deal with your kind. You gonna stand up there at the store and smoke weed with him and call him a gangster? Who is this calling me? Oh, ooh. Yeah, I think I'm getting ready to get some advertisement for somebody. I reached out to her about her product that I use. And she done reached back out to me. Okay. We got to do better. What kind of world we live in when you got black women? Okay. A lot of these black women get government assistance, Section 8, and all of that. They're able to move in nice neighborhoods if they want to. While your kids are growing up, you do that because I believe in a hand up. It ain't nothing wrong with you getting some government assistance to help you to come while you go and better yourself and not make it a lifestyle. Okay. And you mean to tell me you get over in these nice neighborhoods and you move the gang members in with you? So not only are you taking down a neighborhood that has you've been afforded to move into a nice neighborhood, because I'm gonna tell you why I'm talking about that. My mother, and it's been happening. My mother lives in Twinkletown. Twinkletown has always been beautiful, still is. A few people die out, and what their kids do is they want to start renting the houses out, but they ain't gonna be doing that much anymore because they got a homeowners association, and there are policies and rules. They want to put the house up on Section 8. And you mean to tell me you housing a gang member? So now they done found out where you live at and they want to come into a neighborhood that has always been beautiful with black excellence and shoot in the neighborhood because you want to house a gang member. They shooting over your children, over you, and could hurt the elderly people that live over there in Twinkletown that are retired, that have worked hard to keep up their beautiful neighborhood. Okay. So these girls got to be held accountable too. When do they choose themselves and their children? So now I'm the mean one because I say strip them of the Section 8. You gonna choose the gang member or you gonna choose the Section 8? Ultimately, the Section 8, you're choosing yourself and your kids. Because you getting it because of your kids. Who you gonna choose? And you know what's scary to me? Who they choose. Because like a sane mind, a healthy mind would say, well, they'll choose their kids. I can't say that they'll choose their kids. I can't say that because they ain't choosing their kids now. How you gonna have that somebody that you know that's out in the street that's got a lot of trouble, that be in a lot of trouble, that's got a lot of enemies and all of that? how you gonna even choose to have that around you, let alone bring it into your personal space of your children? Okay. So we're still behind when God gifted us with everything. He gifted us with rhythm. Rap is rhythm, dance. Everybody want to try to be like us. They folks go and get tans, the melanin in our skin. Okay. The beauty, we come in all shapes and sizes, all colors. They've taught us to hate what we see when we look in the mirror. Crafty, how black men, because of our ancestors, have always worked hard and they run. They talk about Tarzan, but I think about how those Africans, you can't beat them running. God gave us everything. Okay. And we see what is going on. It ain't like it's a secret anymore. It has been put out there, and we still choose to stay behind. Okay. I will always say this. That's because we can all identify with this. We all know about this. Ain't no way in the world God in them was supposed to be able to kill young Dolph and his label still be going. Y'all hating on a black man. That's how sick we are. They take a black man out for nothing. And we supposed to, and there are no ain't supposed to be no repercussions. Okay. Y'all, when I push mute, I'm blowing my nose. Okay. My doctor gave me something yesterday and it's bringing all the mucus out of me. Thank God. So when I have to blow, I'm blowing it all out because I'm tired of being stopped up. So if y'all see a little pause, that means I done put y'all on mute and I'm blowing. Okay. I'm blowing out of my nose. I ain't doing no other type of blowing. If anybody in the background nasty, because it'd be a lot of perverts. Okay. I'm talking about blowing my nose. Okay. So we got to do better. We do. We got to do better. You can't just do what you want to do to other black people. That's the reason why I was looking at this guy. I believe his name is Damon. And he taught and they it's a group of activists rising up in Memphis, and he's smart. See, it's one thing to be an activist and you may not know everything. It's good to be proactive, but you got to read. That dude can quote policies and it really impresses me. He quotes policies and when they violating, and he can quote the policy right off the top of his head that they're violating, and that impresses me because that's what we got to start doing. We got to start learning the policies and the laws and the rules and not just wait for somebody to tell us. We got to go read and then call the shit to the table. Okay. The violations to the table because there are so many violations that go on in our community against us, but we I mean every single day, but we don't know the rules and the policies. They out there, we choose not to read. Okay. I remember when I was writing, I was writing grants and stuff. I used to always go to a grant. I looked up and found one for school, and I looked up and found that one. That's why I'm trying to get all I can out of it, because I don't know when that's gonna be. They're gonna take that away. Okay, but y'all, they have really removed everything as it relates to trying to help Black people and Black businesses, and they put it right in the hands of other communities by changing, um, just by redefining what the grant can help. And a lot of these businesses that they're choosing to help, Black folks don't own that. Don't own that. I was talking to a guy one day, and this was like a year or so ago. He's a white guy. I like him a lot. He's a leader in the city. And I was talking to him about it. I was like, dog, um, I remember a time where they used to give you money to start a business. He said, oh yeah, they got some. He's like, I can help you now. They got some money to start a business, but it's a specific business. He said, for minority women that want to start car lots. I said, what? He said, yeah, in Memphis and in Shelby County, if you want to start a car lot, they got a whole lot of money for minority women. And at that time, Black women I said, car lot. He said, yeah. So what was happening was white women are considered minorities. So the white women was going and getting the grant. They was paying for everything, the land, the car lots, everything. Okay. And the white husbands were sending their white wives who are considered minorities. See, they real tricky about that. When they say, well, we did this for minorities, Black folks already they know Black people gonna feel like, oh, well, they helped, minorities are Black people. No, white women are considered minorities. So these dealerships that popped up, they ain't paid for nothing but the damn cars, and they gave them the money to start that. And they was putting the car dealerships in their wives' names so that they could get the grant money they ain't have to pay back, period. Down in Mississippi, I was looking at it because I'm doing something for somebody. Let me start statewide to see what kind of grants the governments are giving out. They got grants for big businesses like those who own energy companies. And it's so bad that they want to help these people to stay rich so bad. They paying for, if they train people within their company, you got the Mississippi government that will pay the salary of the workers for about a year or two. If they train them, if they hire them in and train them, the Mississippi government is going to pay their salary. That's keeping the rich white people rich. Okay. Or if you want to start an energy company down in Mississippi, it's plenty of grant money for that. But anything else, you start getting into, because it ain't no Black people that's owning energy companies like that, probably especially not in Mississippi. Anything else, you on your own. They're rewriting history yet again, and we're digressing. And it didn't just start with Trump; it started with Biden. If you want to be honest, we can go a little further than that. Probably Obama, because they was able to do a lot of things with Obama, and we loved him because he was a Black man. It was a lot of stuff that was passed up under that administration that we would have been, as Black people, screaming on every rooftop about if it had been passed under a white administration. So they learned to put a Black face in the place. And hey, I believe Obama is a good man. But you got to understand, with presidents, they are selected and they have a government, a secret government over them. They got to do what they say, because the moment they step outside of that, then something happens to them and their children. People forget that. They understand that as people, we move on emotions. Okay? So we was just happy to have a Black face in the place. We were just happy to have our first Black president, and regardless of what went on, we made excuses. Okay? He was likable. I wanted to see him succeed. But I've never been the type of person, regardless of how much I was happy, and I just, when wrong, when things ain't done, you have to call stuff out. And that's something, that we don't do. Just like with a lot of these Black politicians in Memphis, we started getting a lot of Black politicians, and you need to check out who it is that is funding them. If you start looking at who's given to their campaigns, you'll see that they already bought and paid for. Okay, they already owned by the slave masters. But we be so happy to elect people based on race, and that's it. Well, they Black, and then we don't watch them. They've been bought and paid for. And a Black sold out, bought and paid for politician can do way more damage than any white politician, because they can do shit and they can't be called to the table for being racist. Okay? As a matter of fact, the slave masters now would rather own a Black politician, because they ain't gonna buck against master, whereas a white one might. Okay? The Black slaves, the Black politicians that's bought and paid for, they're way more obedient. So the white power brokers, which are the masters, they'd much rather have a good Negro and put money behind him or her and have them elected, because they already know we want to vote based on race, even though they ain't did a damn thing. Okay? I'd rather have a free thinking white person in place than a bought out Negro any day. That's why I say we can't vote based on race and name recognition. We got to get away from that. Anyway, y'all, I gotta go because I gotta get ready to go to work. I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Okay, it don't take me but 5 minutes to get to work, but I want to make me an omelet right quick before I run out of here. I'll be working. I probably don't need to say this. I gotta be over in Orange Mound today. I gotta run over there and take some statements. Anyways, y'all, I love you all. Y'all have a good day. Dear God, I just thank you right now for everybody that's on this live. I ask that you shield and protect them all, including myself, Lord. I got to be in the mound today, okay? But I love the people that's in the mounds. No weapon formed against any of us shall prosper. Anything that rises up against us will be condemned. I ask that you send our warring angels before us. May we all return back home to our respective families, just the same way we left, okay? Shield and watch over us. Anybody that has any difficult managers and supervisors, God, I ask that you go before them to make the highways and the byways. Well, no, you go before them and touch the heart of the manager, okay? Because God will do that. Anyways, you guys, I love you all. Y'all have a good day. Talk to you later.